But I'd do a quick video on hiring copywriters and give you a little insight as to how the whatever this would be called, copywriting ad. It's not really an ad, it's a post on a job forum or job board. So this is in Nothing Held Back job board. Definitely one of the places I recommend. There's a couple of places that I've hired from. There's a few places that I've tried to hire from. The two that I've hired good copywriters from have been Nothing Held Back job board, and then I can't remember the other one's name, but I'll list it in underneath the video. But this, obviously this post here that I've done is super, super terribly formatted. Obviously there should be line breaks, but there's not. But I've attached this. I think you could run this through AI. You could rewrite this yourself. You could use it as a format. This attracted a real good host of talent, a real good, from beginner, excuse me, not beginners, but to those with like less experience, who is still the talent, but less experience, who maybe would be reasonable rates or affordable rates, to those who had, multi 8 figures worth of sales down to their copy. And obviously they charge higher rates. So it's about finding that balance. I think you work with whatever your budget is. I definitely think if you're starting out and you're not doing at least, I would say 100K a month plus, I don't think there's any need for a copywriter. I think you need to focus on copy yourself. I think you need to, as a more solo affiliate, maybe with a VA and maybe a contact to do graphic or video design. Copywriters are important for sure, but they're expensive, okay? And they're slow as well, or most of them are slow. If you want to test a new offer and you want 2 video scripts and maybe a couple of primary texts and a couple of headlines, it's going to take the best part of a week to get that, okay? Whereas AI, take a best part of a minute to get that, right? So there's that big difference. So although I do really recommend a good human copywriter, I think AI is, for speed, cost, and all of that good stuff, I think AI is the winner. But for those who do have a big budget or a bigger budget and can obviously afford to take on a copywriter and have the need, like I wouldn't do this unless I was, scaling campaigns and also planning on testing new offers, right? All right, so anyway, so you can read it all yourself. Copywriting Superstar. This is, again, I wish I'd have realized the formatting was terrible before I posted it. But anyway, so you can read it, pause it, read it. It's solid copy. And it goes to an application form. Just a simple Google app. Again, the copy on there, formatted this time. And then email, name. How long have you been writing direct response? Do you have any copywriting role models? Always on the lookout for good copywriting resources. What was a specific program? It gives us a bit of an insight as to what they've actually been learning from. Every copywriter has their own process. Would you say you're the type to put lots of effort into? It's totally fine either way. I'm just into it. Have you ever seen any amazing video sales letters? Examples of successful copywriting. A to B test you conducted. Could you share an example copy you've written? Please share a link to your portfolio. What's the best Facebook ad you've done recently? What's the best short form landing page you've done recently? Pretty simple. And I don't know how many, did we get responses from this? No responses from this one. And I don't know if that's because I've copied it into a new Google Drive or if I'm just being a little bit stupid. So let's have a look here. Yeah, I think we... All right, so this big gap's messed me up here. I don't know why it's been formatted, but there's loads more down below. I was wondering where they all were because I was like, I'm sure we got more than like 6. So the ones highlighted in green were the ones that caught our eye. It's going to move that back a little bit just to offer some protection. But yeah, so, this caught my eye, or me and the copywriter who was helping me evaluate this, because it's Revenue River, who are probably one of the biggest vendors on ClickBank, Buy Goods, Digistore, etc. They're responsible for ProDentum. They're responsible for, oh God, ProNail Complex. They're responsible for loads, and they have new offers coming out pretty much every other month. I just can't think off the top of my head what some of the ones are. Not Sugar Defender. What was the other one? I can't think what they are. I can't think what they are, but they've got some of the biggest offers. Anyway, um, so yeah, that caught my eye. But like you can see how the questions it allows us to see what type of style. Julian Reyes is uh, like a survival. He's got multiple things, but he was involved in a company that does survival offers. Chris Haddad, well known. All of these guys are well known, right? But I'm looking for stuff that's like more in line with what we're looking for, right? Our type of direct response. Unknown black hat affiliates. Anyway, I wanted to show you the one. I think we hired one person from this round, and this was from Nothing Held Back. This guy. I think it was this guy, not even highlighted in green. So there's reference to ProDentum. There we go. So quite a few. Yeah. Anyway, like I just wanted to give you an insight. I was reading that then. It's been a while since I've read this, some of these. But like this is the thing, right? Like now, what I've got here is I've got, and this is just one of our application responses from the Nothing Held Back group on one particular post. We've posted a few times in Nothing Held Back. We've posted a few times in some other copywriting groups. But this one got, how many? 40, maybe 38, 39 responses, because I think the first two rows are a test and then obviously the questions. So now we're like, oh man, we could do with a copywriter. Well, we could potentially reach out to these guys to see if they've got any scope, right? So that's an advantage of it as well. Like I said, I don't think it's definitely not essential that you have a copywriter. I think it's definitely essential that you have someone that's good with chat GPT or AI that can produce good copy. And I also think it's essential that you do have a basic grasp of copywriting. However, I don't think it's essential you need a world-class copywriter. I've seen ads. I mean, some of our best performing ads have no copy, no primary text, just a headline, and sometimes just an image, right? So a lot of the stuff you can take from other places and sort of spin into your own, which is obviously what we really emphasize instead of reinventing the wheel. But yeah, anyway, it's interesting, right? There are some really good copywriters, some amazing copywriters, and the guy that we hired out of here was absolutely brilliant, world class. Wrote some of our biggest and best ads for a range of different offers, to be fair, not for just one particular offer. So yeah, anyway, that's that. I thought I'd drop in and just like give you an idea of how that post looks, the application form, how that looks, and then also the responses. And what I'll do is I'll link to each of these that you can then obviously spin into your own. Obviously, I'd be careful about doing this unless you're a ClickBank Diamond affiliate, because that was obviously our angle in this copy. And if you're not one, then sort of, you know. But there we go. All right, guys.